Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kari with Crochet Me Knots. On today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this really cute crocheted wallet or carrying case for our face masks. Nowadays, we have to carry extra, so you can have 3 or 4 of these paper masks in here, and it clips onto your purse, your belt loop, your backpack, you know, you name it. So if you don't use the paper ones, which most people do, but I have a fabric one that I use here, which can go in here as well. So it's very convenient for both, and it closes with a little loop and a button. Very simple to make. I also made it with the option of this little pocket back here for your hand sanitizer if you choose. So that's also an option. So for this, to show you how to make this, I did make a separate video for it because not everybody's going to opt to do this, to make that. And I would hate to have someone just wait until the end or fast forward. And plus, it's easier to attach this while we still haven't, before we whip stitch everything closed. So that's why I went ahead and did a separate video for the hand sanitizer pocket. Okay, so this video is just for the wallet itself, the carrying case, and then I'll link the tutorial for the little hand sanitizer pocket, and it'll be in the description box. Okay, so what we need to make this guy here is, let me just put these away. There we go. So I am going to use this color gray. It's a medium worsted weight yarn. That's a 4-ply. You do need a clip, whatever you choose to use. I had a mini little carabiner, which I used for this one. But if you have a swivel lobster clasp, you can use that as well. Or a simple key ring will work as well. So just something that you have that you can attach to your purse, your backpack, your belt loop, and that way we don't forget that we have extra masks. So we need those clips, whichever one you want to use. You do need a button for the closure. This is a 20 millimeter. It's a good size. It's a 20 millimeter. A pair of scissors. For this tutorial, I'm going to use a 5.5 millimeter hook. You need a tapestry needle so we can whip stitch the wallet closed, and then you do need a hand needle to sew in your button at the end. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so our foundation chain is going to be made up of 20 chains. So go ahead and crochet a foundation chain of 20. I do need you to leave an extra long tail. And why that is because at the end, we are going to, the tail will end up here. So this is what we're going to use to whip stitch everything all the way around. And then we need to make this little loop here. So make sure you leave it extra long. I know that can be a pain in the butt because it can get caught and stuff, but it's just so much easier at the end if you don't like to have to join the yarn, and it's definitely a lot more secure if it's just in one strand. So go ahead and leave that long tail, and once you have your foundation chain of 20, what we're going to do, the entire thing is, it's crocheted, it's just single crochets. And why I chose single crochets, because it's the tightest knit stitch, crocheted stitch. So that way you don't have much getting through as far as dust and everything, because we want to make sure we keep our masks as clean as possible. So single crochet is the best bet. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but that's just why I chose to use the single. Okay, so once we have our 20, we are going to single crochet into that second chain from the hook. So you insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2, and just single crochet all the way down to the end. Okay, so keep crocheting single crochets all the way down to the end, and at the end of this first row you will have 19 single crochets, and I'll see you back here for the end of the row. Okay, so I've come to the end of my first row, and then crochet, single crochet in the last one here. We should have a total of 19 single crochets. So we're going to chain one, we're going to turn our work, and again we're going to single crochet all the way back. So always single crochet on the very first stitch and on every other one after that. So this is going to be the repeat single crochets in every row. We're going to crochet a total of 34 rows. So go ahead and do that. So just remember, make sure you always have 19. Don't forget to crochet that last, doesn't quite look like looks like 2 little loops. Don't forget to single in that one. If you start to angle in or you are missing a stitch, then you probably missed that last single crochet. So don't miss that one. So single crochet, and it's a total of 34 rows, and I will see you back here at the end of row 34. Okay, so I am finishing up row 34. And here's what I wanted to show you. If you have a hard time counting the rows, I know it can be tricky. This is the front side, and you can see it because you can see that beginning chain. You can see that little chain right there at the bottom. So this is the right side, and on the back you can count them a lot easier because each of these, for example, this first part here is 2 rows of singles. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, and we're finishing up our 34th. So that's just easier for me. It's a little trick count because yeah, if you do it from the front side, it looks like you have an extra one, and that's not always the case. So, all right. So we're finishing up our row here, so just single crochet all the way. All right, so you should have 34 rows. Okay, and you should all still have 19 single crochets. Okay, so for the start of row number 35, we are going to chain 1, and we are going to turn our work. Okay, and I got tangled here. I'll be right back. I'm sorry about that. I got tangled here for a second, but we got through it. Yes. Okay, so we chain 1, so we're going to turn our work, and we're going to start row 35. So what we're going to do is we're going to start this row with a decrease, because what we're going to make now is we're going to start to make the little flap right here. So we're going to go ahead and make a decrease. And how you do that is we're going to stick our hook into the first chain, into the first stitch, I'm sorry, and pull up a loop. And then we're going to go ahead and insert in the next stitch, pull up another loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. So that's a single crochet decrease. And then we are going to single crochet across until we come to our last 2 stitches where we will work another decrease. And I think this idea gets kind of cute, especially nowadays for gifts. Christmas is coming. It's always good to have, especially, you know what, for kids, so you can clip these on their backpack when they go back to school, so they always have extra masks. That's always handy. So, okay. So we have 3. Okay, so before, now we come to the last 2 stitches here, so we're going to work a decrease again. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, and insert your hook in the next stitch, pull up another loop, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Chain 1. Now row 36 is just going to be, you're going to single crochet in every single stitch. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you back here for the next row. Okay, so now that you've crocheted single crochets all the way across, we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work again, and we're going to start with another decrease. So this is row number 37, and we are going to insert our hook, pull up a loop, go on to the next one, insert our hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. And then we single crochet our way across. And then we stop right before the last 2. We're going to work another decrease. So in those last 2 chains, those last 2 stitches, insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook in the next one, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Chain 1. And this row, again, single crochet in every stitch all the way across, and I'll see you back here at the end of the row. Okay, so here we go at the end of the row. So there should be 14 single crochets by the end of this row. So again, we're going to chain 1, and we are going to work a decrease row once again. And just a little tip, the decreased rows are the odd numbered rows, which are the front, the right side of your work. Right side is always the odd row number. The reverse side is always the even row number. So remember, the increase is always done on the front side of your work. So we work a decrease in the first 2 and single crochet. And then go to the last 2, work a decrease in the last 2 stitches. Chain 1, turn, and single crochet all the way down. Okay, so here we go. Now we have 12. So every time we do a decrease, of course, you decrease 2 stitches. So we're going to keep repeating that. So now that we did all single crochets, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to work our decrease row, and that should leave us with 10. And then we have to work it one more time because we have to end up with 8 stitches. So go ahead and work your decrease row, chain 1, and then single crochet all the way across, and work another decrease row all the way across and chain 1, and then I'll meet you back here after that last decrease row. Okay, so I just finished my last of the decrease rows, and I should have 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches. So this was my decrease row. So I am going to chain 1, and I'm going to turn my work. And let's go ahead and single crochet in the first stitch, single crochet in the second, in the third, and in the fourth. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets, and now we are going to chain. We're going to make the loop that's going to go around our button. So depending on the size of your button, make sure you have a big enough loop that fits around it. For my size, the 20 millimeter, I am going to chain 8. So make 8 chains, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And I'm just going to bring it back down and slip stitch right into that same stitch. And there we go. Now we have our loop, and wait a minute, something happened here. There we go. Okay, that's weird. Alright, so we have 2, 4, 6, 8. All the trouble, anything that can go wrong with your crochet always does when you're recording a tutorial, so I'm sorry for that. Okay, so we have our 8 chains, then go back into that stitch and just slip stitch. Okay, and then after that we're going to finish the rest. Single crochet in the next, and the next, and the next. So the last 4. So we single crochet. And there we go. So you have your little loop now. Okay, so we can cut our work now. So just go ahead and the single crochet is there. Pull it tight, and you can go ahead and hide it. I'll go ahead and weave that in off camera, but there you go. Now we have our little loop. Okay, so now we are going to close this up. And make sure you have the right side. Now you may want to edge this with a single crochet. That's up to you. I didn't do that in this case because it really doesn't look very messy. So it doesn't have to be cleaned up too much. So now what we're going to do is we're going to line up our rows right before our decrease. And you should have 17 rows. So if you want to go ahead and count them that way. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So right there would be our half. There we go. Just line it up like that, because now we are going to whip stitch. And you can press on it, that way you have that little rib at the bottom, and you'll feel it so it doesn't feel too bulky. So now what I suggest, this is why I wanted to make a different video for the little pocket. Before we whip stitch this shut, it's a lot easier to sew in your button, which I'll do off camera. So the base, how you do that is just go ahead and fold a little flap over, like so, and then just kind of eyeball where the button should be, like around there, and then just go ahead and sew your button in. So that's what you can do for the button. Now for the back side, for the little pocket, if you chose to do it, then once you have it completed, then you can go ahead and attach it to the back. It's just a lot easier to do before we sew it and whip stitch it closed. So that's something that you can do. So that is basically it. We're going to go ahead and stitch this closed. I will finish my button off camera at the end, but let me just show you how to. So we are going to just line it up really nice. And we're going to try and only take our little loops. That way it's not too bulky. and you won't see this, so that's why I'm not doing it on the reverse side. You really won't be able to tell. And then just take these little so go ahead and just keep going, whip stitch this. Now, so you don't have to cut your yarn. What I did with mine is once I get to the end here, is I kind of just whip stitched through the bottom here, and that kind of makes this little rib a little more defined, so it kind of makes it look really nice in the end, and that way you can carry your yarn over to this side and whip stitch this part as well. So go ahead and do that, whip stitch this, go around and finish this side, and I'll see you back here for that, and so we can make the loop for our clasp. Okay, so I'm coming to the end here. Make sure I don't tangle it. Okay. Alright, so before we cut this, we have to make our loop for our clasp. So go ahead and leave a tiny little loop like that. Now pull off your needle. Now hopefully your tail was long enough. If not, you probably had to add more thread to it. So keep that little loop. Now we're going to pull that. Now stick your hook back in there. And we are going to chain 1, and then we're going to chain 7 more. So a total of 8 chains. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And now you can pull your yarn through. And we're going to put our needle back on. So let's thread it again. And we are going to stitch that. So make the little loop. Now before you do that, so here's what, if you're using a key ring or one of these swivel lobster clasps that have the little ring on them, you need to attach that. So let me pull this off, pull out the thread, pull out the yarn before we finish. So you would attach your clasp. So you would go ahead and loop it through before we secure. So whatever it is that you're using, if you're using a carabiner like me, you wouldn't have to, because it just opens and you can slide it right in. But in the case of these clasps or a ring, you would have to do that before. So go ahead and put it through, and then we can there we go, and just secure it. And cut your work, and then you can go ahead and hide your ends on the inside. I have to hide that one there. There you go. So off camera, all I have to do is attach my button for that. But that is basically it, you guys. That is how you make this little pouch. And then again, if you made that, then that should already be attached on yours. But I'll go ahead and link the video for the little pocket for your hand sanitizer. There. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I upload weekly, 2 videos or so. I do upload in Spanish and in English. And for little gift ideas or little gifts for the holidays, don't forget to check out my eBay store. There's all sorts of good crocheted goods for gifts and sorts. So go ahead and check it out. Link is in the description box. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.